Enough is enough, and it's time for a change. Change. Make a change. Change to a change. Just change it. Change it. Change it. Should I keep that in? Sure.
Go, Spurs, go, 'cause the Giants stink.
What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. The thumbnail here is changes needed, and I think some things need to change, and I'll address that at the end of the video. But what prompted this was an article from Air Alamo. Boy, they have not been holding back on our Spurs lately, about 3 hard truths the Spurs front office may not want to accept during another collapse. 2 fourth quarter collapses recently, the blowout on nationally televised TV versus the Bucks, a bit of a rough stretch for us as Spurs fans and for the team, of course. So I'm going through these 3 things. Let me know if you agree with them, and let's just go. Mitch, what's up? Oh boy. Yes, we were embarrassed on national TV. Yes, we were. Number 3, the Spurs were never going to win without Jeremy Sochan. The Sochan's importance has never been more clear. There are big players who can handle the ball in the league, and San Antonio needs someone who can guard them. Harrison Barnes drew the short stick assignment of guarding Giannis Antetokounmpo, and well, that didn't go well. Keldon Johnson and Julian Champagnie also took their turns on the Bucks superstar, and they also ended up as cannon fodder. Some of you may believe that if Wemby had another explosive game, the Spurs could have pulled the one out. But for Vic to have a good game, he needs space, and the Bucks denied him for that entire game. He only took 10 shots. I was shocked at that. They didn't respect the other players as much, crowning Wemby all night. It would have been nice to have a strong cutter with size that Vic could have easily dropped the ball off to, but unfortunately, that's the same guy who would have been responsible for guarding Giannis. Sochan's value to this team is immense, and without him, playing teams that have stars, wings, guards with the size like the Greek Freak, LBJ, Luka Doncic will be a problem for the Spurs. And that is one connection that has been happening much better this year. I know Sochan's outside shot still not working, but the Wemby to Sochan connection, finding Wemby cutting when Wemby draws attention for an alley-oop or an easy bucket, that has been working pretty darn well this year. And Wemby himself, in the interview after the game, saying one of the differences from last year to this year is they had Jeremy Sochan last year when they beat the Bucks. I think they beat them, or Wemby had a big game. Yeah, I think we beat them. So, yeah, I do agree with that one personally. I know some fans have been critical of. Speaking of critical, look who's up next. But I think Sochan would have helped last night. That would have helped a lot. The floor spacing, not so much. But you know what? A lot of guys aren't shooting well. And speaking of not shooting well, ouch, Devin Vassell has been overestimated and maybe overpaid. Vassell's shooting has reached alarming levels of poverty, and we can be honest about what we're watching. Oof, I told you, Air Alamo does not hold back. Props to them. Mitch Johnson talked here after the game, and the first thing he said was, well, I like the 9 rebounds. Okay. He's played 22 games of a possible 37 games this season, and his last 10, his shooting has been atrociously poor. And it has. I looked it up. You guys know I love Basketball Reference. His last 10 games, Devin's shooting splits are 37, 23, 77. This is a very long slump. 13.6 points per game, and not to be a dead horse, but he is making $29.3 million. You do expect more out of a player with. You guys, one of you said this, and I don't know if this is true or not, but his $29.3 million is the largest salary ever by a San Antonio Spur in a year. I find that crazy to believe. I looked up a few, legendary Spurs like David Robinson and Tim Duncan. None of them made that much. I thought maybe DeRozan would have passed that number. He was in I think he peaked at 27. So he might have the biggest contract in Spurs history. That's crazy. What's more concerning, this one, check this, I did not expect this, Spurs fans, is how open Vassell has been on his shots. He had one of the highest percentages in the league on highly contested shots, so you would think that he'd thrive when afforded more space, but that hasn't been the case. Oh gosh, there it is. The former Seminole has taken 27 open threes, that's 4 to 6 feet of space, so no defender around you for, about a me, and 19 wide open threes, 6+ feet of space. Well, that's also me. He's shooting just under 19% on open three-pointers and 21% on wide open three-pointers. What? I had no idea that was out there. So when you're open, when the defense is collapsing on Wemby and saying, go ahead and shoot it, and we're shooting it and missing it. And listen, as a team, this isn't just Devin. It is not. We are bad from three-point land. Look at our percentage over the last 15 games. Champagnie leading the charge at 41, Barnes at 39, Wemby at 37, Chris Paul at 36. Jeremy Sochan's actually number 5. Jeremy Sochan! is 33, and then it just drops under 30. Malmo at 27, Vassell right there at 27, Kelman just under 25, and then Branham at 22, Castle at 21, and Jones at 17. Our three-point stretch over that period, oh, these dang ads, is 33%. That's 27th in the NBA, near the bottom. I would say our three-point shooting in general is a problem, not just Devin. So Devin Vassell's slump is certainly not helping the team any stretch. If he's going to be this unreliable, he can't be the second option, and his $135 million contract looks like a slight overpay. They're being generous there. If he finishes the season out the way he is, and I don't think he will, oh my God, I hope he doesn't, it's going to look like a major overpay. He's better than this. He's so much better than this. Hopefully this is just one of those weird 10-game, 15-game slumps, and he just comes out firing at some point, and then we can stop seeing articles like this, and I stop talking about this on the channel. Fortunately for him, there are a lot of games left to prove doubters wrong. There is. I've spent a significant amount of time defending him, so I'd like to be wrong for wavering, but that's up to him. That is up to him. And then last but not least, the Spurs miss Coach Popovich. Mitch Johnson has done a great job getting this team to maintain their level of 500 basketball, but there is something missing from the formula. Coach Pop's ability to get more out of guys has been missing, and as the schedule hits the roughest part of the season, oh boy, it is rough. That's needed more than ever. I 100% agree with that. Oh, I'm sorry. These ads are bouncing me all around. One of the benefits of acquiring Chris Paul was supposed to be the combining of the genius minds of the point guard and the greatest NBA coach of all time. That's barely happened as Pop has been out since, November 12th-ish? Pop is a master of relationships, and sometimes getting to the root of what's going on is everything to getting them out of the slump. Devin Vassell may need that. You need something. Okay, that's fair. Not to mention, some of the rotations have left me confused. Now, I want to talk about those rotations just for a moment. Is there an analytical way to look up how well the Spurs are doing when Trae Young and Chris Paul are on the court at the same time? Because I don't get why we have 2 point guards running around. I'm really perplexed by that. Do we have a winning record when they play a lot together? Because when I see those two they're both barely over 6 feet running around, I'm like, all right, so now we have a small lineup and we're running 2 point guards, one of which cannot shoot and actually has been reluctant to shoot this year, whether that's by design or his choice, whatever it is. He's not shooting the ball. Trae Young is not scoring at all this year. I don't get why we're having both of them on the court. Don't even get me started on the backup center situation, which will get me started because I'm going to talk about it, where it's gone back and forth to Bassey, to no backup center with Jeremy Sohan playing the 5. Back to Collins. Nope. Back to Bassey. Nope. Now we're going to split minutes between Bassey and Collins. It's all over the place. And look, I get you're not happy with Zach Collins' production, especially for his contract. Bassey's been inconsistent, but just pick one and go with it. Ride or die. If you can't get a solid rotation, you can't get chemistry going if you're constantly bringing them in and out of the lineup all over the time. You know what, Mom the other night, he didn't look good, or last night he looked bad because he hasn't played. The dude hasn't played in what, a month? Like, Mitch's rotations got me scratching my head. And then there's also, he's clearly not managing our minutes properly to where guys are getting gassed out at the end, specifically Victor Wembanyama. We've seen quite a few times where Wemby scores nothing in the last 4 or 5 minutes because he's got nothing left. Wemby's young. I know people say, TSR, Wemby's young. David Robinson played 38 minutes a game. Yeah, I get that. David Robinson was also an athletic freak. And I got to think Wemby's 7'4" frame, that's just draining his cardio. He's not there yet. And maybe that's something he'll work on as he gets older. Maybe his cardio will get better. Maybe this is it. I don't know. Maybe he'll be a guy that can only play 32 to 35 minutes a game or whatever. But overplaying him right now and having the minutes heavier in the second half is wearing him out. And a gassed Wemby's not doing us really any good if Wemby's out there just not being able to do his Wemby things. We'll close with this. These things are frustrating because you can't do anything about injury, taking out Sochan, and Devin, who isn't who we hoped. That can be changed. It can. A Pop's potential return must be met with patience. His health is first and foremost. That's got to come first when he's ready to come back. If he's ready to come back, then do so. All we can do is hope things get better, but hope is not a strategy. So buckle up. And buckle up, Spurs fans, because it may get worse before it gets better with this upcoming schedule. I said at the beginning of the video, change is needed. What change do I think is needed? Consistent rotations, I think, might help. Unless someone's on fire. If somebody's killing it, if Julian Champagnie just hit 6 threes in a row, keep them in there. But I think more consistent rotations and maybe use your bench a little more if guys are clearly tired, or if somebody's in there, like Champagnie last night, started 3 for 3. He didn't make another shot. And he missed 7 or 8 in a row after that. It was a lot. Maybe I don't know. I'm not an NBA head coach, but I think the rotations need to be either tightened up or the backup center situation's obviously a mess. Something's got to happen with that. I just the CP3 and Trey Jones thing I already mentioned. I think the rotations need to be tighter. The starting lineup. This might not be a popular opinion, but the starting lineup of Wemby, Barnes, Champagnie, Castle, and Paul had one of the better plus minuses in all the NBA, didn't it? Maybe try that again. Vassell did better off the bench than he did as a starter. Maybe have him come off the bench. Maybe have Sochan come off the bench. I don't know. What's happening right now, these last few games, clearly something's not working out. And yes, Jeremy Sochan and Devin Vassell are not expected to be starters long term. I'm sorry, not expected to be bench players long term, but maybe shake things up a little bit too. I don't know. Change it up. Maybe I'm overreacting, but these last 3 games have been abysmally frustrating with 2 fourth quarter blown leads and the blowout last night. And Devin has been playing better off the bench, so maybe put him back there. Steph played better as a starter, maybe put him there. Both players playing worse, one coming off the bench and one starting, then maybe put him back where they were doing better. And then late game, we saw it in, I don't remember which game it was, but maybe Jeremy Sochan shouldn't be closing games. As much as I like Jeremy and I see a lot of potential in him, if we need floor spacing, he shouldn't be out there. I know he's the best offensive rebounder of the team, but if we need a 3-point shot, he should not be on the floor. He just shouldn't. And last but not least, we need Pop back, but that's going to be up to Pop if and when he comes back. That's all I got, Spurs fans. Sorry if I got long-winded there. The recent losing has got me mind-boggled. Just to see the 2 fourth quarter blown games, and then last night, this latest stretch feels like last year. The losing from last year. I think that's what's had me agitated in the live stream last night. It felt like last year. Up until really recently, I felt that like everything's heading in the right direction. Not going to see a big losing streak anymore. Those days are over. And then last night with the blowout and then the 2 fourth quarter blown leads, it felt just like last year. And I was like, oh my God, are we regressing right before my eyes? Devin Vassell has been, I'm seriously, it might not seem like I'm rooting for him. And last night I wanted him to have a huge game. I'm like, let's stop the talk about how you're playing poorly because I don't like talking about it. But it's happening, so I can't act like it's not. Have a big game, nationally televised game, show the world what you got, and he went, 4 for 17. I'm rooting for Stephon Castle hard. He comes out, he throws up a dud. He was like 2 for 12, and I'm like, my goodness, the guys I'm rooting for ain't got it going. Wemby couldn't get it going. We get blown out, and just it felt like last year and the year before. It felt like those 22-60 seasons, and I hate that feeling. You lost, No, I'm just stop singing. So, hey, if we're a lottery team again, then gosh darn it, let's just get a top 3 pick. Please, if you're going to make us go through this again, let's get a top 3 pick, and I don't know. I got nothing. I am now rambling because I'm really frustrated with these last few games. Let's beat the Lakers. That'll make me feel better. Let's beat the Lakers. Let's crush the Lakers, see them driven before us, and hear the lamentation of the women. Thank you. Hit the thumbs up, drop a comment, subscribe. Thank you, and as always, go Spurs, go.